Good evening, YouTubers. Welcome back in to another edition of Astros Recap. David Artis here, Sunday night, June 18th, 11:24 p.m., so a little later than usual. Figured this would be a bit of a shorter podcast, just based on, only 3 games with the All-Star break, of course. But anyway, disappointing for the Astros, obviously losing 2 of 3. And not the worst thing in the world. Astros are still in pretty good shape in terms of still have a 3.5 game lead in the AL West, so that's the good news. Just a quick All-Star sort of recap break with the Derby and the game, which I'm not a huge fan of. Obviously, all Astros opted out. They had the right to do that. I think it's a bad look. I think I brought this up briefly last week, but had 4 representatives, of course, Altuve, Correa, Brantley, and Ryan Presley. All of them opted out. Obviously, Correa and Stanek, Presley have pregnant wives apparently. So I mean, they want the rest, and apparently Brantley and Altuve are dealing with some minor nagging injuries. So I mean, I don't blame them. I just think that nobody showing up was sort of a bad look. But again, it's not that big a deal. I mean, obviously, if the Astros went, there'd be a lot of, obviously when they got in the game, people would boo. I just think they're sick of it. I mean, they play through it. It's not a big deal for them. I mean, they've dealt with it all year. It's not really affected their play, I would say. I mean, they're still first in their division, and they're 18 games over 500. So I can't say the booing's really affected their play. But I mean, obviously, if there's no reason to go, the All-Star game is meaningless at this point anyway, so it's not like, it's an important game to show up at. But just as a fan, for other fan bases, other fans, obviously, when they don't show up, yeah. I even saw that on Twitter today. Buster Olney, who's a guy, I mean, a lot of the media, the ESPN people, and a lot of those people are going to, Jeff Passan's another guy that just ripped the Astros for what they've done, and they'll never forgive him. I'm not going to go back and forth here. Just they didn't go. I thought it was a bad look. But, again, they have their personal lives, which is really none of our business. This is the one break they get for 4 days before, they have to play 70-something more games. So, anyway, the Derby, they've tried different things to keep fans entertained. Going to a home run derby, for instance, like obviously the game was in Colorado. Fans going to the Derby, that's fun for them. Pete Alonso did win. I was happy to see Shohei Ohtani get bounced out in the first round because I'm so sick and tired. Shohei Ohtani is a great player. He can pitch, he can hit. I just feel like the media just is way too wrapped up in this. Shohei, I mean, listen, he's had a great year, especially from a hitting standpoint. The only reason he started the All-Star game is because they wanted to. Obviously, he brings in fans, right? He hasn't been a great pitcher this year. He's been okay, not amazing, not All-Star starter worthy. He just got it because he's Shohei Ohtani, and he also hit leadoff, and so they wanted to do all this fun stuff. I'm not trying to rip the guy because it's not Shohei Ohtani's fault. I just feel like the media, ESPN, they just it's just all the talk every day, every single day. It's just, can we talk about something else? So I was happy to see him get knocked out in the first round because I felt like if he advanced, it was just going to get worse and worse with all this Shohei Ohtani talk. And I don't hate the guy. I don't. I really don't. He's a great talent. I get it. I just wish we could lay off. Everybody just rides on him just constantly. So yeah, that's my take there. Not very interested in the Derby. I did watch it because really there's nothing else on TV. And in the game, I basically slept through most of the All-Star game because it wasn't entertaining. I used to get excited for the stuff like this in the All-Star game and the Derby. This was always a fun time of the year for me. The one time of the year I actually get to root for players not on the Astros, just as long as they play for the, once was the National League, now the American League. AL1, again, I think that's 8 straight years or 7 straight years. It's kind of funny. The Astros, the National League had a winning streak going, in 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, And since the Astros shifted from the National League to the American League, the American League's won every All-Star game since, which I think is 7 in a row. Obviously, the Astros shifted in 2013. Maybe it's 8 in a row. Not sure the exact math. Obviously, no All-Star game last year, so you have to take that out. I think that's 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. That would be 8 straight that I think the AL have won. It's a funny stat. Most people don't think about it, but yeah, the NL had won, not 8 straight, but they had won, 3, 4, maybe 5 in a row up till 2013, or 2012, I should say. And then 2013, when the Astros shifted, the AL's won every game since. Obviously, the whole home field advantage in the World Series is awarded to the winning league is no longer a factor. It's just the team with the better record. So that makes the game even more meaningless. But yeah, I just can't get I can't get hyped up for the All-Star game. Obviously, maybe I would have been more interested if I knew some Astros were playing in it, but obviously they weren't. So that even drove me further away from it. Vladimir Guerrero, by the way, won that. I did say Pete Alonso. He had won back-to-back, won it in 19, and won it this year, the Home Run Derby, that is. And then, yeah, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won the All-Star Game MVP as the AL won that 5-2, I want to say. It's 5-2, 5-3, I don't know. So, yeah, that's that. Off days, of course, Wednesday, Thursday, and then winning Friday, the opener of this series against the White Sox here, the Chicago White Sox. And then losing, obviously, today and yesterday. So the Astros' record now is at 56-38. Luckily, the Oakland A's lost 2 of 3 over the weekend to the Cleveland Indians. So our lead stays at 3.5. And we'll look forward now coming home to play the Cleveland Indians for 3 and the Texas Rangers for 3 with an off day on Thursday. So, yes, I will be at the ballpark every day this week doing pregame tours. So, I guess I look forward to that. But, yeah, sort of, I was wanted to get the second half of the season off to a good start with a series win. Obviously, losing 2 or 3 to the Yankees over the weekend prior to the All-Star break, but winning that big game on Saturday to give them, some... I just feel better about going to the All-Star break. Offense is still, they had that the 6-run ninth inning against the Yankees on Sunday to get the win. But you take that out, they had 2 runs up until that point. They scored 0 runs on Friday. They scored 0 runs on Saturday. They scored 1 run yesterday, and they got shut out today. So the offense is in some funk right now that's not very good. Correa's gone ice cold. Jordan Alvarez has gone ice cold. I'll give the White Sox a little bit of credit. They pitched well. Carlos Rodon has been great this year. He shut them down today. Yesterday was Lucas Giolito, so the guy we hit is probably the worst guy in the rotation, Dylan Cease, I believe, on Friday. And then they also have Dallas Keuchel and Lance Lynn, the 2 guys we didn't face in their rotation. But yeah, we got the win on, Friday, 7-1. The White Sox did lead this 1-0. We scored 2 in the third on a Yuli Gurriel 2-run single. Really broke it open in the 7th inning with a 4-run inning there when it was still 3-1. Miles Straw to big bases clearing double. And Lance McCullers was great. Lance, he had his IL stint, which is, his annual. He always has an IL stint every year. But I look at the numbers; they're pretty good. 7-2, 2.80 ERA. So McCullers, if you just were to go based on numbers, win-loss total, I don't usually look at that as a big indicator whether you're good or not, because that's sort of a. But the ERA is usually the big number I look at, and that's probably the lowest on the team as of now, I would say. Fromber had another subpar start today. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah. This was the one good game of the series. They get crushed on Saturday 10-1. Their 1 run came on a Abraham Toro home run when it was already 10-0. But Jake Odorizzi really struggled in this game. Let's see if I can pull it up here. Take my phone off this charger for a second here. All right, so yeah, 10-1. Red Sox scored at 2-run third, fourth, fifth innings, made it 6-0. 3 runs in the sixth, added one more in the seventh. But Odorizzi got hit around pretty good. First few innings he was okay, but only lasted 3 1/3. Threw 73 pitches, but he walked 4 guys, 4 earned runs. Only struck out 1 batter, but his ERA rose to all the way to 4.09. So not a good start for Jake Odorizzi, who's been pretty good, I would say, since returning from the IL. But he's 3-5 in the year. Bielak came in. Bielak is Bielak. He's going to give up runs. He's not a guy you'll see in any competitive games. He usually just comes in to clean up messes. But he goes an inning and 2/3, gives up 2 earned runs. That's about right. He's 5.77 ERA. Yep, that sounds right. Joe Smith came in. Had looked pretty good since coming back, but he imploded as well, giving up 3 runs, 3 earned runs on his own. ERA was getting closer to maybe the high 4s if he had a good outing, but it's all the way up to 6.64. And Austin Pruitt finally activated, so they finally are able to send Taylor Jones back to the minor leagues, which is where he belongs. But Austin Pruitt, a guy we're finally seeing for the first time after getting him last year, didn't pitch at all last year, was hurt all of this year so far. He gave up an earned run, but he got in 2 innings, 2 hits. He struck out a batter, a 4.50 ERA. Pruitt, I'm curious to see what he can provide us in the bullpen. So he did give up a home run, but other than that, that's just his first outing. I'm curious to see how they use Pruitt. I don't think he should be used for long relief. I think he should be used in closer games, but we'll see how Dusty goes about doing that. But yeah, I mean, when you get new bullpen pitchers or guys coming off the IL that haven't played for this team yet, I'd give them a shot because at least they haven't failed, like many of our pitchers have. But lost that game 10-1, never really had a chance, especially getting the later innings. And then today, like I mentioned, 4-0 loss. Frommer wasn't terrible, but also wasn't great. That's like his 3rd straight subpar start. ERA's over 3 now, 3.26, 5-2 on the year. Gave up a RBI single in the 2nd inning. That was all the White Sox needed. Danny Mendick single to score a run. Yohan Moncada hit a home run, so did Tim Anderson, and Adam Engel had a RBI single to score the 4 runs for the White Sox there. The Astros, of course, they had 1 hit, and it was Abraham Toro. Toro's accounted for all the entire offense the last 2 days, so the home run and the 1 single today. But yeah, they had no chance. I think Rodon went 7, then Kopech came in to pitch the 8th, and Liam Hendricks finished it off in the 9th. That's a pretty tough combination there that the White Sox can throw at you. Stanek came in. There was that heads-up double play by Martin Maldonado where he ran the runner back to 3rd and he overran the base. Those of y'all saw the game. I'm not really going to get into it a whole lot, but those of y'all saw the game saw that he had that double play. That was really the only highlight for the Astros. But you know how I feel. I've been really fed up with Martin Maldonado. He's sitting 169, dude. Just get me to 200 and I'll lay off. But, dude, you have provided absolutely nothing offensively. And I don't expect a lot, but at least just hit 200 for me. I'd like to see Jason Castro get more starts. I know the argument with Maldonado. Everybody will use the argument, well, hey, he handles our pitchers well. He's a great defensive catcher, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I won't take that from Maldonado. But let's not sit here and act like Castro can't work with our pitchers. And I just feel like you'll get more offense. I just feel like we need to see more Castro second half of the year than what we saw the first half of the year. I mean, you'd be lucky to see Castro once a week, maybe. So I'd like to see him. He did come in to pinch hit. He struck out in his 1 at bat. But Castro's hitting 221. That's like 50 points higher than Maldonado. Toro obviously at 226. We know who Toro is. He's just a fill until Bregman gets back. Miles Straw, 262, so he's figured things out. Kyle Tucker, surprisingly, at 271. Carlos Correa's fallen. He had his average up to over 300. It's dropped to 278. Brantley, of course, consistent, good hitter, 326. Gurriel, 311. Alvarez, 283. Altuve, 273. I'll take the 270, 280 average with Altuve. He's driven in 55 runs and hit 20 home runs, which is more than anybody else. So I'll take that from Altuve. You don't have to hit 300. If you're hitting home runs and driving in runs and you're hitting 270, 280, I take that. You're a good baseball player. But anyway, trying to think any more storylines sort of surrounding baseball right now. Obviously, we were tied with the Red Sox going into the second half. They lost 2 of 3 in New York over the weekend, so we're still tied with them. But Chicago has the best record now in the American League at 56 and 26, 56 and 26, 56 and 36. Sorry, I think that's the record. Yeah. No wait. Yeah. But yeah, 56 and 36. So yeah, we're tied with Boston, and then yeah, as far as the American League, best records go there. In the National League, obviously, San Francisco continues to. Well, they lost 2 in a row actually, so I'll take that back. But they're still 58 and 34. The best record in all of baseball. Big shocker there. And then the Dodgers are a game back of them at 58 and 36. And yeah, those are the 2 best records in the National League. Yeah, Mets lead the NL East, but they're only 48 and 22, and then you have Milwaukee leading. They basically have this wrapped up in the Central because nobody wants to challenge them. Cincinnati's in second place, and they're 7 games back. Milwaukee's 56 and 39, so they're pretty good. They'll win that division. I picked St. Louis to win that, and I looked like an idiot because they're 46. They weren't terrible. I thought with the addition of Nolan Arenado, they'd be a pretty good team. I thought they'd get enough pitching with Jack Flaherty and those people. Adam Wainwright just sort of in the middle of the rotation, I believe these days, but Jack Flaherty sort of their ace. But 46 and 47, so they're no good. That's sort of my around the league update for you there. But yeah, so important to come home and hit. I mean, you can look at Valdez, and obviously what didn't pitch well today, but every time the Astros have had issues, and we can point to the bullpen and pick out people that screw up there, but it always starts and ends with the offense. I feel like for the Astros, their offense, the team's gonna go as the offense goes. So that's what we got. I think Zach Greinke starts tomorrow. I haven't really looked at the pitching lineup for this series. I'm not really going to dive into that. I'll obviously talk about that next week. But, 18, 19 minutes is about right. I wasn't expecting to go long today, only 3 games. You got any updates for me? Anything I missed? Please leave those in the comment section below. Anything to add? Anything you disagree with? Always open for, confrontation there. Obviously, I respond to warranted comments if I get any. But I do appreciate the listen. I'll be coming to you every Sunday night once again, probably between the hours of 10:30 and 11:30. I do stay up late most nights, so I sort of like to do these late. But anyway, so I'll wrap things up there. And again, we'll talk to you next week, next Sunday night, same time, same place. We'll see you then.